Happy Friday! I'm sure you guys are all excited that the first full week of remote learning is finally done, so let's own that. All right, to move forward, so today is going to be FRQ Friday in AP Bio. I will go in more detail shortly on what that is. However, first, I wanted to go through the trends that I noticed from this week's study guide. So, things to highlight. So, you guys did a good job in terms of defining all the terms pretty thoroughly. Many of you also made really good connections to the unit. Like you were very specific on how this process or how this substance connects to some other process or term in the unit. And you also included really colorful images that reflect the importance of the term. However, in terms of what we need to work on as a whole for future assignments, one, using your own words. So I know through remote learning, there's going to be a lot of Googling. However, there's nothing wrong with Googling. However, you still need to summarize and paraphrase in your own words in order to show understanding of the material. Also, for some of the connections made, some of you were pretty generic in just saying, okay, this connects to cellular respiration, but not actually making the connection of this step is particularly important in this process of cellular respiration. One way to think about when you're making the connections is thinking about, okay, why is this specific process or why is this substance so important? Why do we actually care about learning about this in this specific unit? All right, so I wanted to give shout outs this week in terms of assignments, and my goal is to give shout outs every week. So, first shout out goes to Alfredo. And so here I posted an example of his work here. And so I'm going to have you answer, why is this a good response? How can you improve this? All right, the second shout out goes to Rubeni. And so similarly, why is this a good response? How can you improve this? Last but certainly not least is Leah. And so I put this because this was an example of someone who instead was creative about the assignment and made sure, okay, I'm going to include all the information, but I'm not necessarily going to restrict myself to the boxes. So realize the boxes were put in there as a way to help you organize, but as long as you had all the information included, you did not necessarily need to stick to that. All right, so transitioning to FRQ Fridays. So, considering that the AP exam is now going to be just free response questions, it is going to be very important for you to get used to and exposed to free response questions. So, it is going to have two parts today. The first part is you are going to break down the free response question. So, as you see here, that means answering what is the main topic or theme of the question, what are all the facts that you would need to know to actually answer this question, and what is the most relevant vocabulary pretty much from this week's study guide. And then part two is you're actually going to answer the FRQ yourself. And then this is going to be graded as a learning goal. And this is going to be a different learning goal than what you've been graded before. Okay, so why am I doing this? Why are you doing this? Why is this so important? The AP exam, like I said, is just free response. So the more practice you get at this, the better. Also, this is a way to be able to apply the information that you had to summarize through your study guides this week. For next week, what's going to happen is we will keep the basic structure of there is some sort of study guide you need to produce for Tuesday, Wednesday, and there is going to be FRQ Friday. However, how the study guides look like is going to be very different. So why are we changing it up? One, trying to prepare you for college. Two, to keep your engagement so you don't feel like you're doing the same thing every single week. however, still maintaining some sort of structure. And three, trying to be responsive to the feedback that some people have expressed about this week's study guide. So get excited for the changes. This will be revealed on Tuesday. Okay. However, in order to launch this, what I'm going to need from you is for you to answer 3 survey questions, which you will have space to do on this ed puzzle. And that is going to help me prepare the layout of this for next week. Okay. Survey question number 1. Who are the top 3 people you would like to work with on group assignments for your class? Please state why. Survey question 2. How do you digest information best? So think about, are you a person who likes concept maps? Do you like outlines? Do you like chapter summaries? Or is there something else that you prefer? And then survey question 3, group work. What's up with that? So what is it that you need to work on to get better about group work? So realize group work is a very important skill and you're definitely going to need it in college or a job. So I just want to know how you need support. Is it learning how to communicate better with members? Is it through delegating roles? Do you need to learn better how to break tasks into pieces? Do you need to work better on completing work on time or some other piece? Okay, so last thing is I want to put a reminder about office hours. I want to have a check-in with each of you for 10 minutes. This isn't an optional thing, so please do not reject my calendar invite because otherwise we will need to figure out some other time to schedule it. So if you're unable to make that specific time slot, then we need to discuss what is another time we can check in. So when you receive my calendar invite, please accept or please send an email explaining what are some other times that may work instead. So, hope all of you have a fantastic weekend. So, for this weekend, so you can get to know a little more about me, I'm going to get some extra sleep because I love sleeping in. I hate waking up to alarms and I'm not a morning person. I love watching the Food Network, and so there's always nonstop shows playing on the Food Network. I'm a person who loves to travel, so I have a blog where I write about my travels. I've actually been to 28 countries and 35 states, so here's an example of a blog post I did recently. And then lots and lots of cuddles with my cat, because my cat has had to essentially put up with me being in his space all the time because he's not used to being home essentially 24 hours a day, 7 days a week now. His name is Cairo, like the city Egypt, and he is 7 years old. So I would love to know what are your plans for this weekend that you're going to do to enjoy yourself because it's important to take a break through this remote learning. Have a good weekend.